Hey, Amy from the blog of blossoming-life.com, and today I want to show you how to make a really simple elderberry syrup recipe. So I've been making this for going on 8 or 9 years now, and we make it every year, multiple times a year, to help keep our family healthy and to get over illnesses faster. So let's just jump right into the recipe, and then we'll kind of go over at the end all about the benefits of elderberry syrup and some different variations that you can make with this recipe. And I noticed that I'm starting to get a little tickle in my throat, and I know it's coming. And so I'm gonna whip up a batch, so let's get started. So it's made of really simple ingredients, and you can kind of change this and make it how you want, but there's kind of like a basics that you need to do. So sometimes I will get lazy and I will just do elderberries and water and boil it down and just call it good. And because that's the main component of it, is the elderberries. I'm gonna put my stove on medium-low heat, and I'm going to add my elderberries and the water. So when I originally made this recipe back forever ago, I didn't have kids. And so now I double this recipe, and you can double or triple it and freeze it for later. So on the blog, it will be in half of this, but you can kind of do what you want with it. So to this pot, I'm going to add 6 cups of water, and I use filtered water for my Berkey water filter. Now, I use filtered water because it filters out all the nasty stuff that I don't want in the water, and also it just tastes a lot better. And then I'm gonna add 1 cup of dried elderberries. Now, I always use dried elderberries because they're easy to find, and you can even buy them online if you want to. You could use fresh, and I have done it once before with that, but it's kind of tricky with the fresh elderberries just because you can't do any of the green ones. They have to be really dark purple, and so they already do it for you, so it's just a little bit easier to do the dried. Alright, so I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and then I'm going to let it simmer on low for about 45 minutes until it reduces to about half. After the elderberries have reduced to about half, I like to take a potato masher and mash the elderberries down just to make sure to press out any good juices that are still in the berry. The elderberries and the water have been simmering for about 30 to 45 minutes, and now I'm going to strain it into this big bowl with a mesh strainer. Now, the only reason I chose this bowl was because it has this spout, making it easier to pour into mason jars or whatever you're going to store your elderberry syrup in. Now, I will want to caution you that this can get messy, and so don't wear your brand new favorite red sweater, like I just said. I am wearing an apron. Hopefully it won't get too messy, but it can be a little bit messy. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour it in here. Now I'm just gonna press the juice out of the elderberries, just to make sure you're getting all that goodness. And then I usually will empty out the elderberries, and then I'll put more back in and press it again. Okay, now that I have all of the juice pressed out of the elderberries, I'm gonna add my other ingredients. So like I said before, the main thing in this is the elderberries and the water, and you can kind of play around with this. So now I'm going to add about 2/3 cup of apple cider vinegar to my elderberries, and you can kind of play around with this and figure out however strong you like it. Usually I would use about double this, but my kids just don't really like it, so I'm just going to add a little bit just to give it the added benefit of apple cider vinegar, but without giving it so much overpowering flavor. So next I'm going to add the honey, and you can play around this again, add as much as you like or as little, or just completely leave it out. This still will add a little bit of sweetness. You should try to get a local honey, and this can also help with allergies. But you know, local honeys are always preferable, but if you don't have it, that's okay. Now if you wanted to, while you are cooking the elderberries with the water, you could throw in some cinnamon sticks or even some diced up or sliced up ginger and cook it with it. Not only will this add delicious flavor, but also those are immune boosters. I'm gonna mix this up until the honey is all melted. Now I'm gonna pour my finished elderberry syrup into jars, and I'm gonna stick one of these in the freezer. So I'm only gonna fill it up to about right here, so that way it has room to expand. I'm gonna put both of them in the fridge, but this one I'm gonna cool it in the fridge first and then put it in the freezer. You don't want to put hot stuff right into the freezer because it might break the glass. It made a little bit less than I was expecting, and that's okay. Now this elderberry syrup will stay good for at least 2 weeks to a month in the refrigerator, and then you can also keep it in the freezer for 6 months, and it's totally fine. You're gonna wanna take it like 1 tablespoon per day. Now if you're feeling like you're getting sick, I'll even do about 1 tablespoon every couple hours. And for the kids, one way that they really like it is they like to put this in sprinkle water, that's what we have to call it, but carbonated water. So we'll just use sparkling water. I'll add a little bit to this, and it's like one of their favorite drinks. And it's a good way to keep them hydrated and also to take the elderberry syrup. And for the kids, we usually do about 1 teaspoon every few hours when they're getting sick. You can get the printable recipe on the blog, and also all of the whole post on everything of explaining the science behind elderberry syrup and why we love it so much. There's actually has been a study that has shown that people that take elderberry syrup before they go like on a flight or on a trip, that they actually reduce their chances and their cold days if they do get a cold on the flight, which is exactly where I just was, and so I need it now. Which is why probably I'm getting sick, is because we were just on vacation. So elderberries have been gaining popularity the last few years, and there's good reason. Elderberries have actually been shown to reduce the amount of cold and flu days if you take them within 48 hours of the onset of symptoms. People that actually took elderberries showed relief of symptoms 4 days sooner than those who did not. So even if it's a placebo effect, it is full of great immune boosting support and vitamin C, things like that. So it's something that we like to do in our family, and we rarely have sick days, and even when we do have sick days, they're very, very short. I do have to say that make sure to talk to your health professional before you start doing things like this, or before giving it to your child. You can even find elderberry syrup if you don't want to make it. You can find elderberry syrup at the store. You can also even find it in pill form if you'd rather just do it that way. But this is a really simple way to make your own elderberry syrup at home, and it's even a tasty way to take it. So our family really likes it, and I hope your family does too. Thanks so much for stopping by at Blossoming Life YouTube channel. We share simple recipes, DIY projects, and natural products and living tips. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy some elderberry syrup.